Today we have something pretty special to look at. This is the Fairphone Gen 6 Plus with Murena's EOS. The name's a bit of a mouthful, but this is one interesting smartphone, particularly if you are security conscious and want to own your hardware. So I've been a big fan of Murena's EOS for a while now, the de-Googled Android operating system, and we've done plenty of videos on the channel about them running on different phones. I personally continue to use it on my CMF Phone 1 all the time, but I was given the opportunity to daily drive for a week or so this brand new phone that's literally just come out. I'm waiting for the embargo to lift so I can publish this video, and yeah, I've just thought it'd be really cool to look at something that's brand new hardware running Murena's EOS as kind of standard, and a really great option if you're looking for something that you actually own the hardware, you actually can repair this thing, and of course you can use EOS, which means you haven't got to use Google services, you aren't being tracked all the time, and so you can combine really quite a nice combination of owning the actual hardware and owning the actual software and keeping your data secure. So let's dive into it and let's see what it's all about. So overall, physically, there isn't actually much that's changed here at all. In fact, it is exactly the same dimensions and size, which is not a bad thing. I think the Fairphone 6 was already a really brilliant device to hold, to use, to touch. It was just the right size, really. I really like the sliding kind of button on the side, which under Murena's EOS works as a hardware switch to turn off the camera and mic on your device, adding an extra layer of kind of privacy, which is brilliant. And of course, you continue to have the brilliant repairability of the Fairphone, so you can take this thing apart and get to any bits that might need replacing. It's also the first Fairphone to feature 12 gigabytes of RAM, so this is one of the big upgrades over the standard Gen 6, and it also comes paired with the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4. Another mouthful, but basically that means even better performance compared to the standard Gen 6. It also, of course, continues to have the 12 easily repairable parts that they like to talk about, and is backed by a 5-year warranty. So it really is the kind of phone that you can actually make last. And of course, on the software side of things, it's running Murena EOS version 4, which was quite recently released, and continues the kind of trend of having basically a full zero Google tracking solution. EOS is fully open source and completely removes background Google pings and access to your data from data brokers and all that kind of rubbish stuff that no one wants to be dealing with. You have full control over your data and what is and isn't going out. And the advanced privacy app continues to really deliver on that and really show you kind of details that are quite interesting in terms of what actually is being leaked, what apps are trying to communicate with the outside world, what they're trying to do. You have full control over whether you allow those for specific reasons or just full blocking. You can obviously also do things like geolocation blocking as well, so you can stop apps from being able to see where you are in the world. And of course, you can also hide your real IP address. So even if an app is trying to figure out where you are through your IP, it can't do it anymore. And that is all built in a solution that really is about protecting your data privacy. Murena continues to bring new paid for features as well, things like Murena Backup, Murena Password, Murena Meet, and Murena document signing, giving you a full kind of suite of tools that you can use. And while it's not something that I actually use personally, it is great to see this happening. And the reason why I like that Murena does this, it's because they have a very clear business model. They have a very clear way of making money. And that's often where a lot of these open source, hide your data, all that sort of stuff tends to fall down a little bit. I'm a big believer of if a product is free, you're the product. They're making money off you somehow. So I would much rather a company has a very clear business model, and in this case, it's very clear. You can buy the Fairphone and a range of other phones directly from Murena's website with Murena EOS pre-installed. So that's one way that they're making some money there. And then they have these cloud services that if you do need cloud services, you can basically use theirs and know that it's going to be private, know that it's going to be secure, and help support a really great effort to build an actual European-based operating system that can protect your privacy. And I must admit, in the past, I haven't been a huge fan of EOS's aesthetics, and I've definitely looked at kind of using different launchers and stuff instead. But I think this has come a long way, and the UI is definitely looking pretty clean now. You've got your usual access to things like the App Lounge, where you download all your Android apps, either through the Google Play Store as an anonymous account, or you can actually sign into your Google account and access your paid for applications, which is pretty cool. But alongside that, you do also have access to F-Droid and open source projects, so you can kind of get those apps from wherever you want to get them from. Kind of gives you this nice range of going from someone that just doesn't want to use anything related to Google ever and strictly sticking to open source applications and other methods of app distribution, and moving back down to, I don't really mind using Google services, but I really don't want them tracking me as much as they do. So you get this kind of range and you're in control as to what you do and don't do, which is absolutely brilliant. So honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to use this. I don't have the Fairphone 6 to directly compare it to, but I do have my CMF phone here, and I must say that the Fairphone is kind of a night and day experience. This Gen 6 Fairphone has been really nice to use. The screen looks lovely. Not that that's actually changed since the Gen 6 standard version. It's really snappy. The extra RAM is very welcome for when you want to do slightly more advanced tasks. One of the things I've actually been using the phone for over the past kind of week or so is testing out my new Linux on Android app. I've been doing a series of short videos on that if you want to find out more, but having that extra RAM to run full Linux applications on device has been super, super useful, and it really does unlock the ability to basically have what amounts to a supercomputer in your pocket. Let's be honest here, you know, you were to have this kind of hardware 20 years ago, it would be a supercomputer. So having it in your pocket is pretty great, and having it completely open and at your kind of whim, your control, what you want to do with it is really, really great. If you can't tell, I really like this thing. Now, one of the things that naturally always gets asked when it comes to EOS and the fact that Google services for the most part are completely blocked, there is an implementation to kind of intercept some of those services for apps that need them. But the big thing that often gets asked is, will my banking app work? And unfortunately, there's never a clear answer with that. You're just going to have to find someone that's using your banking app on a device or has tried and see if it works, because there's no reason why they shouldn't work. There is nothing insecure about this system. In fact, you can definitely argue it is more secure than some manufacturers' smartphones. It's definitely more data private. So there's nothing inherently wrong with it. There's no reason why a banking app shouldn't allow it. However, a lot of apps still have quite an archaic system of checking if the Android operating system you're using is custom in some way. It is not the device kind of hardware manufacturer's version of Android. And in this case, that is what this is. This is a separate version of Android. So some banking apps still throw up issues and complain and stop you from being able to run them, which is incredibly frustrating because there really shouldn't be a case for that anymore. So unfortunately, I can't answer that one specifically. I will say in general, app compatibility is just getting better and better. I've not actually found any apps outside of banking apps that I've had a problem with. Things like I use Proton Mail, which is kind of why I don't use Murena's cloud services, because I already have them in Proton. I use like Tusky for Mastodon. I use TikTok. I use LinkedIn, Discord, Slack, loads of kind of stuff that I do for work on the phone, and it's never been a problem at all. So I really think we are at a point where, yes, outside of the banking system, there's no problem at all. So that little bit is going to depend on you personally, unfortunately, and there's not something that I can kind of help with all that much. Back to the actual Fairphone Gen 6 with Murena's EOS. And yeah, I'm really impressed. I think this is a great combination for kind of a mid-tier device. It's not flagship. It's not flagship CPU, but the 7S Gen 4 Snapdragon thing it performs very well. It's very snappy, nice smooth UI. Really can't complain there. 12 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, that's a great benchmark. I believe that the new Pixel phones the new Pixel Pro phones have 12 gigabytes of RAM. So Google's kind of admitting that 12 gigabytes is fine for a flagship. So it's fine for this. And yeah, I think also continued software support and updates through at least 2033, and even potentially longer support through the EOS community because it's all open source. So that's really cool as well. You're getting years and years and years of software support. It's really great to see companies moving away from maybe the earlier days of Android where you were lucky if you got 1 or 2 Android updates, and you were certainly not getting years and years of support. So again, it's really great to see that you've got a device here that you can definitely use for many, many years to come, and it really shouldn't let you down. And if something breaks, you can replace it. So one thing we haven't spoken about yet is the price, and I think it's actually very reasonably priced. It's £599 or 699 euros or 699 US dollars. And I think that is exactly where it should be sitting. It is a good mid-range phone. It is not the full-end flagship phone overall, but it is a good, high-quality, mid-range phone, and I think it's priced exactly where it should be. Of course, not only are you buying a piece of hardware that you actually own with support for software for many, many years to come, but you're also supporting a small European company, both in terms of the physical phone itself being built, but also the software with EOS as well. So yeah, both of those things, I think it's a very reasonable price point. I think it's exactly where it should be. I guess in terms of other things about the device, we haven't really talked about the cameras, and that's because nothing's really changed since the Fairphone Gen 6. There's nothing different there, really. This is very much like a mid-cycle plus update as opposed to a full refresh. And, you know, again, the cameras are fine. They are very much firmly in that mid-tier camera quality. Are you going to make cinematic high quality video that will blow people away? No. Are you going to be able to take photos of your family and important events and be perfectly happy with the quality? Yes. So again, firmly in that mid-range, and there's no issue with it really at all, as long as you kind of keep your expectations at that. Of course, you've got to bear in mind as well that this is half the price of those flagship phones with flagship video quality or photo quality. So again, very reasonably priced for what you're getting. And I guess who should get this phone? I mean, personally, if anyone's going to say who should get this phone, I would say everyone. I think this is a brilliant device for pretty much anyone. But obviously, the core demographic is going to be those that sort of tech enthusiasts, people that are passionate about open source, people who want to have control of their data and control of their hardware. They want to be able to make repairs when they need to. They can trust that there are going to be software updates for many years to come. They haven't got to worry about running their own custom ROM or doing any custom code or anything else. It's all done for them, but they can take part in the community if they wanted to. So yeah, really, you know, people that are sick and tired of big tech, people who are tired of their data being captured by every last app available, and really just want to start owning their phone again. So final question, do I recommend this after a week of kind of trialing it out? And the answer is a resounding yes. I love this thing. To the point where actually I think I might have to take the plunge and replace my CMF phone with this, because I really think this has the perfect kind of combination of good quality device and Murena EOS. You've not got to have that old hardware anymore, kind of lagging behind, which a lot of these traditional kind of alternative versions of Android or other operating systems tended to have. This is bang up to date, and yeah, I really, really love this. 100% recommend it. And I do have to say thank you very much to Murena, of course, for sending this over for me to test out. Certainly ahead of the embargo. That was very cool. That's the first video I've ever had where I get to try out a product before it's publicly available, which is pretty cool. So again, thank you very much to them. And if you do consider buying one of these or any of the other phones that come pre-installed with EOS, please do use my link down below. It is an affiliate link. I will get a little bit of money back for anyone that uses it, and that will, of course, support the channel. So please do go check them out and check out the store and have a look. But yeah, I think other than that, we will wrap it up there for today. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and subscribe. And I'll see you again for another video very, very soon. Bye for now.